What's going on, guys? I had stated in my 3-month review that I'd do a 6-month review, and then I had some health issues, yada yada yada. So I'm pretty close to a 1-year review. So I wanted to just do a one-year review of my 2009 R1, some of the likes and dislikes.
12 months imprisonment.
So let's get right into it. I made some notes, so I'm just going to go down the notes right off the bat. My dislikes about the bike, and they're really small. So I don't know if you can see or not, but the angle of this seat, and I had talked about this in my first review film, the angle of this seat is very aggressive forward. I've sat on a couple other bikes, both of them. I've actually sat on a 2015 R1, and this seat is completely different. I've sat on a Suzuki, and I've sat on an RSV4 and Aprilia, both my brother's bikes, and neither one of those seats have this aggressive forward lean to it. It really forces you into the tank, and I don't like that. That's probably my biggest complaint, because all of the other things are manageable. The other complaint that a lot of people complain about is the heat that comes from the exhaust pipes.
It's rather brave to stay on board. Look at that.
It is what it is, you know. I've had my cat removed. I've got race baffles in my stock mufflers, and the heat is hot, but I don't mind the heat. What else? I'm going to talk about the throttle and the engine braking here in a second. But probably the other thing that a lot of people complained about on this year's model, and I actually think the 09 and the 2010, maybe even all the way up to the 2015, is the cam chain tensioner is hydraulic. And so when you go to start it up, you hear that tattle, that rat, until the hydraulic fluid tightens up the chain. And so there's a little rattle on startup, but then once the engine's running, you don't hear it. Now you can get, and I'm going to upgrade to a manual tension cam chain tensioner, but currently I just have the stock tensioner. And so that's a small little issue. Let's see, what else? Probably everybody's complaint for the R1s, even the newer R1s, is the throttle, the touchy throttle, and the massive engine braking. And so that takes a while to get used to. You know, I've ridden my brother's, again, like I've mentioned, his Aprilia, and his Aprilia doesn't have those issues. I have the Flash Tune ECU software, and I have flashed my ECU, and I have been for a while continually making adjustments so that my throttle and my engine braking feel almost identical to my brother's Aprilia. And right now, for me, those two issues, which are a huge complaint for a lot of R1 owners, I don't have those issues. The Flash Tune software has virtually eliminated that. Other people have complained about changing the oil.
Why don't you work where you huh?
Because the oil filter is in a difficult spot. I just changed my oil yesterday on it, and it probably took me maybe 20 minutes. So that's not, you know, and I had to remove the lower fairings on the left side and on the right side, and those were the only two fairings that I had to remove. And so it's not that difficult. And if you own a bike, I would recommend that you do your own oil changing. That way you could take a look. And generally what I do is I run a magnet. At some point I want to get a magnetized oil plug, but I don't. So today or yesterday I just ran, as the oil was draining, I put a magnet in there in the oil just to see if it would catch any metal shavings or anything like that, and there wasn't any. So if you do your own oil change, you can do that and kind of analyze your engine oil and see what's going on there. Some people have complained about doing their own spark plugs. I have done my own spark plug change at 10,000 miles. You pull the engine cover back and the spark plugs are right in here. And the two on the outside are kind of difficult to get to. My only issue with doing a spark plug change on this bike was that you're kind of relegated to getting the stock spark plugs. And you know, I was hoping to at least have some options, but there didn't seem to be any really good options, and the spark plugs that I got were basically the stock spark plugs, and the bike has run perfect with those. It was running great before I changed the spark plugs, and it was running fine after. That was not that big of an issue for me. Some people have complained about their clothes smelling like fumes, gas fumes. I will say that before I flashed my ECU, my clothes did smell like gas fumes. That didn't bother me. I kind of like the smell of it. It reminds me in an incognito way that I have a motorcycle. I don't know if it makes my wife happy or not, but nothing about this bike makes my wife happy. But I will say that after I flashed my ECU, I don't necessarily have that engine exhaust smell anymore. I do think my bike is probably running a little bit lean. And so at some point I am going to do a dyno run on it and have it dyno tuned. But right now she's still running really good. If I do that, I certainly don't want them to fool around with anything that has to do with my on-off throttle, because it's dang near perfect right now. It's really where I like it, and really engine power and all of that is just perfect for the type of riding that I do. It's strong through the low RPMs all the way up to max acceleration. You know, I don't ride the bike super hard, but for what I do, it's absolutely perfect. I've heard that some people have talked about when they get aftermarket exhausts that it's too loud. You know, and that's the nature of the beast. That's part of what you're getting when you get aftermarket exhausts. You know, put your earplugs in and enjoy the R1 sound. It's amazing to me how good the R1 sounds, especially when you consider how unique it is with that cross-plane shaft, and also how the Aprilia sounds almost identical to the R1, even though the engine design is completely different. You have a straight 4 versus a V4, but that cross-plane shaft of the 2009 R1 and up makes the engine sound very unique. So those are most of the things that I dislike about it. And honestly, now that I have fixed the on-off throttle, and a lot of that has to do with reducing the engine braking, because the bike comes with a tremendous amount of engine braking. And that was all done in the FlashTune software. And if you haven't taken a look at my FlashTune software breakdown, it's kind of a long video, but I tried to go into detail about where, if you're trying to reduce the engine braking and the on-off throttle, where you go in and adjust those. But it's running really well. So really, you minus those two issues, which I don't have anymore. For me, the heat's not that big of a deal. Really, my biggest complaint is this seat angle. I absolutely love the color of the seat, but that thing's seat angle, I mean, it's obviously, it's easy to get along with, but if I had my druthers, if I had my choices, I would like it more flat. You know, and when you look at it, if that's my biggest complaint, it's a really, really small complaint. So the things that I like about the bike, are, when I got the bike, it had plenty of upgrades. Obviously the seat and the color, the bike itself is absolutely beautiful to me. It matches the R7, Yamaha R7 color scheme, which I absolutely love, and that's why I had to go with the red and white. My brother got me this cool R1 wristband brake reservoir cover. I absolutely love that. So it has these piezo brake and clutch levers, which are easily adjustable. I really, really like them. I've got some good quality sliders, really nice tank tape, really good Vortex rear sets. I got the Q3 tires. I got race baffles in my exhaust. And I've swapped over down here. I've swapped over my gear changing to GP changing, and I really, really like that. And on the Yamaha, it's really just a matter of removing one bolt and flipping the unit and putting it back on, and then tightening up the bolt. It's that easy to switch from standard shifting to GP shifting. Where my bike side harness is for my software is down there, and it makes it just a breeze to flash my ECU when I want to make adjustments. Literally from start to finish, from the time I turn on my PC to the time I hook it up and start my bike and it tells me I'm done, it's literally 3 minutes. You know, I could, you know, if I had it out on the track, I could literally make an adjustment right before a race, just like that. So really, everything about the bike, except for the angle of this seat, is just a dream. It's just a dream. If you're considering getting a R1, you know, a 2009 R1, because you want the cross plane shaft, you want that low grunt, which it has. It has that low RPM grunt and noise. Man, that's nice. If that's something that you're looking for, I think you should go for it. This bike has been an absolute dream for me. Every time I get on it, you know, it's just, I really look forward to riding it. And I've been having a blast on it. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please put them below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you get a chance, I hope you come back to watch my next video and maybe subscribe. Go have a blessed day and go make somebody smile.